It's really taught me a lot about the word commitment and the meaning of commitment. In our marriages, we really have to give and take, and we really cannot be selfish. I mean, there are times when I am unhappy or things aren't going well, or just like in any other relationship, it's like you just have to be committed. You say,
I don't know what that's like to not see you for that long.
our family started feeling different the minute we moved.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's February 9th. We are 5 days away, almost 6, from Sister Wives. The new season will debut on Valentine's Day. And what better way to start Valentine's Day than with a bunch of wives crying? Yes, it's another day, another Sister Wives meeting. But this is going to be an interesting one because generally speaking, we do not see Janelle emotional. She is the most stoic. She is the most reasonable. She is the most pragmatic of all of the wives. She is the one that has constantly talked about her relationship with Kody being one of two minds that have come together. They have a connection that is intellectual. She is the one that has worked, that has done a lot of the work for the family. She's also one of the wives that actually left the family for a period of time, lived on her own, came back. She's been away from them and she's been back with them. And she hasn't left since then, but now it seems like she is at this breaking point because a new trailer or a little teaser that was released by TLC shows a despondent, an emotional Janelle talking about how she is so upset about the status of her family.
I don't know what that's like to not see you for that long.
Our family started feeling different the minute we moved.
Now, the interesting thing about this is that you can tell that Kody has been checked out for a while. I did a video yesterday and I talked to you about how Kody basically talks about how he doesn't want to advocate anymore for polygamy and he is sort of just like dreaming about monogamy. And a bunch of you who have been longtime Sister Wives fans said Kody has been so checked out for such a long time. He just wants one wife. It's literally why he spends all of his time with Robin. And it's also interesting that in the first trailer, things that Janelle was talking about were things that it didn't seem like the other wives really were struggling with. So Janelle was talking about how she was concerned about the divide in her family.
Our family's been feeling really challenged since we came to Flagstaff because we've had to be in 4 separate homes. And I'm very worried because it looks like it's going to even be more separation. Everybody's pretty worried about how contagious the COVID virus is. So I suggested to Dad that he maybe not come over. Maybe there are some of us who are like, look, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody hates me all the time.
And how being so separated has created this massive problem with them. If you remember, they are living in all different parts of Flagstaff. You have Mary and Janelle, who live relatively close to each other, but these two have literally never been close. You will never see these two hanging out. Janelle and Mary's relationship was disastrous from the start. If you read the Sister Wives book, you know that Janelle has talked very openly about how when she was married to Kody, she came in as a second wife, that Mary was not very nice to her and that it created a lot of really big issues. She talked about how Mary wasn't nice to her kids, how Mary created roadblocks in her relationship with Kody, how she wasn't a very warm or loving friend. It was the exact polar opposite of what she expected Sister Wives to be like or living in polygamy would be like. And so she was disappointed, and this division and this friction did cause her to leave for some point in time, and then she came back to be with her husband. But she has done a lot of sacrificing for the greater good. The one benefit for her has always been her relationship with Christine, but now it seems like Christine has kind of checked out, and so as the women are more and more divided, it feels like Janelle is the one that seems to be the most upset. Janelle is also the one that loves polygamy the most. If you remember, Janelle did not grow up in polygamy. No, she's a convert. She was once married to Mary's brother. There's always these tangled webs. She and Mary's brother divorced, and then she made the choice after marrying Mary's brother that she really wanted to be a sister wife. She felt like this would be a good complement to her family, to her life. She said she never needed all of the attention. She liked to be independent. She didn't need to have a husband with her all the time. But then in the clips from this next week, you see her really breaking down about how she's just not used to not seeing her family this much. She's emotional. She misses everyone. And their relationship, Kody and hers, has been very platonic for a very long time. But I think there's always been a mutual admiration and respect for one another. Now, Janelle has had a really rough year. If you remember, her mom recently just passed away. So she went through the passing of her mother, and Kody actually stopped by very randomly one day. It was around their daughter's birthday, Savannah's birthday. And so outside of the house, the son spots them all talking. They're having a very serious conversation. A couple days later, Janelle posts on her Instagram that her mother has passed and how emotional it's been. You know, and the one thing that I've noticed in all of this is that the sister wives don't interact all that much on Instagram, like at all. Janelle will respond on Christine's. Sometimes Christine will respond on Janelle's. Mary never responds to anyone. They never respond to Mary. They never interact with Mary. Hell, they're not even following Mary. And then Robin is literally never on social media. Where does the family stand today? Well, neighbors, if you remember, have already spoken openly about how they don't see Kody really leave Robin's house ever at all. He doesn't spend much time with her. He would go days at a time with not leaving the house. This has been in the pandemic. Now, they did make a decision to try to limit how seriously this could spread. Like, they weren't sure, and they wanted to take the steps to make the right choices to keep everyone safe. And so in the fundies world, they might be the only family that's taking this seriously and maybe doing the right thing. And Kody doesn't want to infect everyone, so he basically hunkers down with the wife he wants to be with, which is Robin, but then everyone else gets neglected. And then you also have to realize that the kids who are used to seeing each other aren't seeing each other. So it's creating it's making everything more fractured than it was before, and they're really living 4 separate lives. And it's like Kody has 4 separate families, except Cody's not an active participant in any of the families except for his one with Robin. You can understand why Christine is like, I want to move to Utah. I'm out of here. I can't do marriage with Kody anymore. Because if you're constantly feeling like your husband at every turn has been like, I'm not interested in you, I'm only interested in Robin. And there's always been this question about, we already know that Kody and Mary don't sleep together. They don't spend the night together. He said that on the show last year. And then you know that Miss Janelle and Kody are very platonic these days. They talk about that a lot. So the 2 wives that are only frisky with him would be Christine and Robin. And you really wonder if part of the reason why Christine is checking out is because their intimacy is gone. Kody doesn't want to he wants the idea of sister wives, but he just doesn't want to deal with the wives. He doesn't want to deal with the dynamics. He doesn't want to deal with their fighting. He doesn't want to deal with the jealousy. And again, Kody's a convert. So last year you saw Kody talk about how he felt tricked into getting into this world. He's almost going to blame Mary for everything, all of his problems, all the reasons why he has all these wives. And then when he finally meets the wife that he truly falls in love with, because if you remember, the rest of the wives were sort of added as is. So he met Mary and he was sort of wide-eyed and interested, but they courted very fast and they married. Then Janelle is sort of added as Mary brings her in, married to my ex, my brother, that's his ex-wife. Christine is again kind of this arrangement. Kody has talked about how he wasn't even attracted to her. He said that he was grossed out by when she was eating nachos. Yes.
I will be honest, I was not attracted to Christine in any kind of physical sense. I mean, I look back in retrospect and I wonder, was that fair? But I can't even look there.
With Robin, it was different. He was in love with her before they ever got married.
Cody's my soulmate. I love him.
How's it going?
In love. And same with Robin. Like, they were like this. And so this might be the only time he was actually in love with one of his wives before he got married. He actually dated her. He took her on a honeymoon. He treated her differently right from the start than all the other wives. So you have Janelle finally at her breaking point. And so now you start to wonder, are we going to end this series with all of these ladies leaving Kody and Robin just like running off into the sunset? Well, I'm not sure, but you'll have to wait to see. And we'll talk about it all season long. So tell me what your thoughts are about Janelle finally getting emotional. Bye, guys.